Alright, the government is falling. Okay. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to another last minute live stream. Breaking news outside Parliament, outside number 10 Downing Street. I was not planning to do this. I basically scheduled so many videos before I left the house, and all the updates that I've done. The next video that's going to be up at 8 p.m. is going to be a little slightly redundant. Basically, the chief whip has resigned. Wendy Morton, of the head of the government in Parliament, has now resigned, and the deputy chief whip has also resigned. It's okay. I don't know exactly what's going on, because I was literally with some Downing Street people, friends, who had to run into number 10 Downing Street. There is all this discussion about Jeremy Hunt basically taking control of the government, and there is a inevitable reshuffle that's not going to be called a reshuffle, and there is a very important vote in Parliament right now as we speak, that building over there, about the Labour Party planning to permanently ban fracking. And so this is basically essentially a vote of no confidence in government, even though the government came out to say this is not a vote of no confidence, but in reality it is, because Liz Truss herself, her team briefed the papers about 2 hours ago saying if we lose tonight's vote, if we lose about 30 extra Tory MPs to the Labour side, then the government is falling. I'm quoting the government themselves. They said the government will fall if they lose another 30 Tory MPs to the socialist side. So I'm going to wait for more people to join the live stream as well before we get into the actual discussion analysing. But I'm outside Parliament. We're outside the Red Lion pub. We have all the politicos and the MPs and everybody here. So we're gonna ask some people what they actually think of this chaos. In case you've just joined the live stream, we've got the latest update, which is the chief whip of the government has decided to resign or be sacked. I don't know. We're gonna find out exactly what's going on, because when Suella was sacked earlier, about a couple of hours ago, when we did the live stream with breaking news, they changed the reason for sacking 2 or 3 times. First they said there was a fight between Liz and Suella, then they said there was a technical error and there we go. Oh, okay, so Labour motion has now been defeated. So I just got the breaking news that the vote on fracking, that was a vote of no confidence essentially in government. The Labour Party has lost that vote, so the government still stays around, but we don't really, as everybody says here, Liz Truss is in office but not in power. So yeah, but Liz Truss has lost her chief whip, Wendy Morton, as well as the deputy whip, Chris Whittaker, and we are now going to go to, let's see where, if we could find someone to talk to outside Parliament. There are a number of politicos here to get their perspective. Actually, let's find Morgan Broben. Morgan, come here. So, we've just heard Wendy Morton, chief whip, has resigned. Deputy whip Chris Whittaker has also resigned. Usually when chief whip of government resigns, that's a sign that the government's falling, right?
Yeah, it usually is. I mean, it's pretty unprecedented. As you said, there have been instances in the past where this happened under Cameron's government, it happened under May.
Yeah.
It's happened in, obviously, Labour governments. It's a pretty damning signal. And if the government isn't going to fall, what the hell is going on? It's pretty confusing.
It's interesting. Obviously, you were not pro-Liz, and but you were not a passionate Rishi Sunak guy either. You were just like, well, I'm not convinced by Liz, so technically you were proven right. But bias aside, everything we know, the way it seems, with the whole Jeremy Hunt situation, if it looks like a coup, if it walks like a coup, is it a coup?
9 times out of 10 it is.
Yeah.
And I did actually say to a friend of mine who was a genuine Liz supporter, and
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I had respect for Liz as a Conservative MP. I don't have any real issues with her. I didn't see her as prime ministerial material.
Yeah.
But this supporter, I was going to be very close in her inner circle, and I'll keep that private, said that she would probably be one of the shortest serving prime ministers in British history. And stranger things have happened, and I could definitely, I can't see how the government can carry on the way it is. I mean,
imagine being shorter than Gordon Brown. That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
But it is, and a lot of people are now saying obviously unity candidates. So the options: Penny Mordaunt, Rishi. I mean, Rishi, I will admit, logically speaking, not a unity candidate, but you could say, if we had done Rishi, maybe it would have worked out.
And look, I mean, I was a Rishi supporter, but fair is fair. Liz won. You can't just take the second candidate and say, oh, well, that person's second in the race, that's the unity candidate. It doesn't work.
Well, they're kind of like saying the way they're doing it, because they want to replace her, crown someone like Rishi, and then they're going to basically change the rules so that members don't have a vote. That seems more like you guys voted, but the result is wrong, so we're going to basically ignore your result.
Well, yeah, and you've even had Conservative MPs who've also remained nameless, which says a lot about their convictions and their bravery and their character. They've said pretty much, screw the membership. If we have to choose another leader, we'll choose another leader. And if it means losing scores of activists and constituencies, so be it.
Well, that's mental. I was speaking to Richard Tice earlier. He was saying over the last couple of days he's had thousands of Tory members joining Reform. You can't lose all the members.
And that's what's going to happen. They're going to go straight into the arms of Reform,
Yeah.
just like in the past where many of our long-term members went to UKIP.
Yeah.
Of course, many of them came back, but they left again, and this is going to happen again. A party cannot just run on donations, and PR.
You need manpower.
You need manpower. That's how Vote Leave won the referendum. Manpower, or people power, whatever you want to call it. People getting out there, knocking doors, talking to people. You can't run a political campaign without people, and if you're going to treat your activists that way, you should really question whether you should be an MP.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I mean, from the perspective of the MPs, not us, not you guys, not the country, basic unity from the perspective of MPs. Main option is Penny Mordaunt, whether you like her or not. She would calm down the parliamentary party. Whether she's right for the country or not, that's different. But in reality, because this experiment with trust didn't work, and it's still early days, more like a plaster, I'm just saying, I'm just a banter, but I mean it. If you just go back to Boris, it just seems more like a holiday that's now over. So it's not it's going back to status quo. It's not change. And obviously Boris has let us down. Boris needs to address a number of issues. He needs to create a new team. But if at any point Boris can come back, it's now, isn't it?
Well, theoretically, that's true. If there's any point you can come back, it would be now. But just by removing Boris, I mean, I'm not going to get into the whole argument whether that was right or wrong. But I'm going to say that by getting rid of the head, without the plan, you've not solved the problem of basic standards in Parliament. Government standards, accountability, real accountability. That's been a problem in British politics and in the government for a long time. Just by getting rid of Boris, that's just not going to magically fix things. We really need to look at accountability in politics.
If we go to the live chat, we've got some comments. We have Will Fletch saying Ben Wallace now, literally our only hope. Ben Wallace will be the safe pair of hands. I don't know his policies.
I mean, he's a candidate who hasn't expressed any strong ambition either way to lead, which very often that can be the perfect leader. Somebody who doesn't aspire to be a leader can often make the best leader. He doesn't belong to any particular factional wing. He's got good experience. He's a decent human being, decent guy. As an army reservist myself, I have a lot of respect for him. So we could do a lot worse, and I think Ben Wallace would be a decent unity candidate, at least until we sort out who's going to lead the party for the long term.
Yeah, better Ben Wallace than Ben Butterworth. So let's go to live chat, see what's going on. So for those of you who joined the live stream just now, we got Sir Graham Brady, the head of the 1920 committee, just walking past. Can you save the government? So we got Graham Brady walking to number 10 Downing Street with Will Ragg, who's also part of the 1922 committee. Obviously, right now, Graham Brady is the most powerful man in the country in terms of the stability and who's going to be in charge. But he didn't really want to answer the question, obviously. So that's happening. Graham Brady is going to number 10, as we know, as we speak. And let's go to the live chat, see what's going on. So, for those of you who just joined, we've had the chief whip of the government resigning. Wendy Morton has now left, and the deputy whip has also resigned. Usually when you lose your chief whip, that means the government is falling. So that's basically what's going on right now, where we've had Grant Shapps becoming the new Home Secretary, and Jeremy Hunt is de facto Prime Minister. So that's basically the latest. There are a number of cars actually coming out outside Parliament, so we believe a number of MPs are going to be coming out. We have Diane Abbott standing on her own. That's Diane Abbott behind me, checking her. I think she's waiting for an Uber. I don't really want to. I was tempted to go and talk to Diane Abbott, but I don't think she would want to talk to me. So we'll just leave her there for a second while she gets her Uber. Let's go to let's go to the live chat. Mr. Privacy, thank you so much for your super chat, saying vote Reform Party. This Parliament needs an enema. Let's just go quickly. See what. Diane, just live stream on YouTube. Is the government over?
I hope so. Really.
Can we see a Labour government soon?
No.
So yeah, Diane Abbott said they're hoping so. Huh?
How did you just miss Rishi?
How did I miss Rishi?
He just came out, got his
I missed Rishi Sunak. I was talking to Diane Abbott. I was talking to
the stream. You missed Rishi.
I got Graham Brady and Diane Abbott. So let's go to Benjamin Logney.
Oh dear, not again.
Government is falling, right?
Yeah, good. Good riddance.
Should we bring back Boris?
Yeah, I think it's the only viable option at this point, because if you bring in another new leader, people get sick of it, they'll call for a general election. If you say, look, we made a mistake, bring him back, I think that's a bit more safe.
To be fair, the one legitimate argument for having Boris as a replacement is all the other options, including Penny Mordaunt or whatever, is still new change. Whereas Boris is status quo. So you could just be like, the last month, that was just a break. We were going back
exactly.
to
I'd do it just for the speech where he comes back and he leans over the pulpit and he goes, did you miss me?
Did you miss it? Absolutely crazy. But we've had thousands of people who have now defected from the Tory party to join Reform. I was talking to Richard Tice earlier, about an hour ago. And yes, there are thousands of Tories who've basically just given up their membership. Let's go to the live chat. So if, as we was talking about during this live stream, when you lose your chief whip and your deputy chief whip, then you basically don't really have any authority. And we've got Jeremy Hunt. The next video that I've scheduled on the channel, as I said earlier, which will be uploaded, which will go live within the next half an hour to an hour. I basically recorded it before. So that video is not going to have any of these updates, but it's about Jeremy Hunt being behind the upcoming reshuffle. The Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, is basically telling the Prime Minister Liz Truss that you need to get rid of all your loyal friends and Liz Trussites, and you need to replace them with my people. So we already had Grant Shapps, who was on Rishi Sunak's side, Jeremy Hunt's side, as Home Secretary. We've now had Wendy Morton leaving as Chief Whip. So we're going to have a new Chief Whip. So I will not be surprised if it's another Ramona, another Jeremy Hunt sort of a politician. This is basically turning into a Ramona cabinet. In terms of this topic, the globalist Ramona types, Boris Johnson's cabinet at least didn't have this problem. With all the flaws of Boris Johnson, with all the problems of the government under Boris Johnson, at least we had basic stability and we didn't have this sort of problem. It had a different whole range of other issues, including the green crap nonsense and everything else that was happening, and the way the lockdown policy, the lockdown stuff, I will admit, regardless of who, from which wing of the Tory party or Labour party were in power, that was always going to happen. Whether we like it or not, the lockdown days, the agenda, that was always going to be the same, regardless of if it's the right-wing Tory, left-wing Tory, right-wing Labour, left-wing Labour. So we can't say, oh, if it weren't Boris as Prime Minister, then lockdown wouldn't have happened. And we have the Iranian protesters as well. Is Iran going to be free? Is Iran going to be free? Yeah, the line is the government, the British government, should stop supporting the Ayatollahs in Iran. Let's go back. Russia privacy. If you want reform, you have to vote for reform. I like that line. Let's go to the live chat again. We'll see what's going on. Firefly Robert says, when is Jeremy Hunt resigning? Don't think he's going to resign, guys. Razai said, Tories are a dead party walking. I agree with that. Someone says Putin for PM. Oh dear God.
Do you want a real story?
Yes, go on. Tell us.
Okay. This is about renewable energy.
Yeah?
We are doing a job on taking methane from landfill sites.
Yes. Wow.
And we're looking at it. We also, I can't go into big details because this is patent, hydroelectric, hydropower. Yep. And we're looking at that as well.
Okay, that's interesting.
So a colleague of mine, and we can't go into details about that on
We'll look
public.
forward to find out more hopefully soon.
At the moment, I'm trying to promote taking basically
Yes.
gases from shit.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find it. I mean, we'll see how it goes because there are all these developments happening when it comes to energy anyway.
What we're looking at is taking gas from landfills and sewage plants,
Yeah.
and then turning into the heating.
Oh wow.
And hopefully from that, and the processes will also create electricity.
That's interesting. There's a lot of comments in the live chat as well. Let's find out. Thank you so much. Let's go back. We had a bit of an intervention on the energy situation in the country. Someone just said, "Who let Jeremy Corbyn in?" I don't know. I'm not in charge, guys. I'm the presenter and the producer and the technical guy. I'm literally everything on my own right now during this live stream. Let's see. Yes, someone just said, Joe said, Maya is not in control. Back in control. I know, I literally lost control of my own agenda for about 2 minutes. But we are back now, we've got the agenda back. So, let's see who else is going to go. Give me your prediction, who else is going to resign or get sacked, Mr. Privacy. Is Nigel coming back, do you think? I think the way it goes, because obviously I've been talking to Nigel Farage. Until now, he wasn't really interested. His guys don't stop going, but if there's an opportunity, I would not be surprised if Nigel Farage comes back to frontline politics to sort out this mess. We will find out soon enough. Hang on. Alice! Oh, okay. We just lost someone. We just had the special advisor to James Cleverly, Foreign Secretary. I don't think Cleverly will resign. He might get sacked. We'll see what's going to happen exactly within the next few hours in the Westminster bubble. I'm going to let you guys go now because we kept getting interrupted by many people. Let's get the last few comments from another degenerate.
Reprobate.
So, government's falling, right?
I mean, it's doing a very good impression of it, to be fair. It looks as though, I mean, in any other circumstances, you would be thinking they're done. They're just done. Labour's been saying that, certainly. I was looking at some content earlier where somebody was basically saying, they were dragging the MPs into the voting lobby.
Apparently they lost the vote, the Labour Party lost the motion just now.
Yeah, but I mean, the point is that the Tories were
they
were so desperate about that.
That's the only way they won.
Because it was supposed to be, it was a 3-line whip. It was supposed to be basically a vote of confidence in the government, and they appear to have got through this time, but you don't know what's going on.
That was interesting because we had it from Will Ragg, who we just saw walking with Extra Graham Brady. Will Ragg said earlier, he sent his letter of no confidence, and he said, because they are forcing us to vote with government tonight, and if we don't, then I'll lose the whip, which means my letter would not count. He said, just because of that, I'm going to vote with the government.
Well, yeah, and of course this is the thing. Now, I mean, is the fact that she's gone actually a better indicator of whether or not there is confidence in the government tonight?
Absolute chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, this was our live stream outside Westminster. Stay tuned. Don't leave YouTube because I think within the next couple of hours we're going to have more breaking news live streams for you guys. I'm going to stay right here, and hopefully I haven't started drinking yet, so if I get tipsy, not my responsibility.
He's lying.
See you guys soon. Thank you so much.